Hi everyone, it's Mish here and welcome to my channel. If you're new, then thanks for stopping by, and if you are a returnee, I thank you so much too. Today I just wanted to make some tags for some Happy Mail, so I thought I'd do maybe a little bit of a mass make. I think there's about 6 tags that I had in mind, so it's kind of be just a little craft with me. Let's make some ephemera, and we're going to be using our scraps. So let's get started. First of all, what I did is I made some tag backgrounds. So to do that, I took some of my note paper, and I really love this paper because it does have a kind of worn look, and the print itself, it's blue, but it's not that bright blue that you get in other scribblers, so I really like that. So what I did is I got out some deli paper that I could just put in between the pages while they're drying, and I took my Fabri-Tac and I actually glued about 3 pages together, and then that gave me quite a firm little base. So I did that with the scribbler, and then I have this little notepad and I did the same thing, and then I just created just some blanks. And I like the Fabri-Tac because it doesn't really warp your paper as does just your normal PVA glue. So I thought we would start with our bases, and I have thrown together just some scraps. I should have about 6 here, I think. Yeah, so for my scraps, I got out my punches. So I do have 2 punches, but you don't really need a punch to create a tag top. But I just got out my punches that I've had for a long time, and I just punched a bunch of mini tags. And then I just put them all, I get these little bins at the dollar store, and I just threw a bunch of them into my little bin here that I could use. So I used those for the tags. I also have this little heart punch, and I punched out on coffee stained paper. I just cut out a bunch of hearts, and then I did the same thing. I just took some brown paper. This was actually paper that my National Geographic came in, but some other tea stained. I used just some scraps that I had left from the Garden Story DigiKit. Spit it out. That I do have some videos of my playlist where I've made the journal and then did some ephemera as well. So I just took some of that and cut out just some other butterflies in different sizes. I did a few little doilies. There's the heart. Then I also just took some little scraps and I made a bunch of banners. So I just cut them all at the same size, and then once I made one and I liked it, then I just copied the design on the rest of them. And I do have a few floral die cuts, so I just again took the same scraps and put them through the die cut machine and made some little florals. And then beside me here I just have a bunch of embroidery floss, and as well as some embroidery lace that's got all kinds of die cuts stuck to it. So I have that, and then I just have a bunch of ribbons and stuff here off to the side, and I have a few little flowery things and some sequins, and I also have brought to the table just some little gems and little rivets. So I thought that we'd get started. So I've already picked out a few things that I thought might go on each tag. So for this one here, I've used one of those little mini tags, and what I did with this one is I actually glued 2 together because this paper was really thin. This was just some scrap I had, so I just did 2 and just glued 2 together, and I thought that would go at the top there. So I'm just going to get that glued down, and I'm okay just to glue it with Elmer's glue. So I don't want it sticking too far up the top of the page. So I'm thinking about there. So I'm just going to put my fingers kind of where I don't want the glue to go. And then we'll get this tucked down. So today is Monday. And I hear a dog barking. Must be the neighbor's dog. The neighbor's dog has a little beagle, but it doesn't sound like him. So there seems, today was, in temperature wise, was about 14 degrees, I think. It's getting to be one of our warmer days. And it's just brought everybody out into the yard. I've seen all kinds of people going up and down the road. And then I have this little butterfly. I did distress some of these. So I just took my vintage photo and just did a little bit of distressing. I did that off camera because I didn't really think that you'd want to see me do the distressing bit. So I thought I'd put that little butterfly down. And I have a little heart that I thought I would kind of put in the center there. I tried to limit myself into just the things that I showed you as far as things to embellish. I sometimes think that if there's too many options, then it's harder to make a choice of what you want to, how you want to put things down or layouts. But I just thought I'd have a little play. I wanted to send out some of these. I'm trying to get together a couple packages to send out for Happy Mail. So I thought, well, let's get all this together, and maybe you guys might want to have just a little cozy, little relaxing crafting session. I'm kind of thinking that we'll put that down. I think I'll put the middle one down first. This is just an old, I think this piece of a dictionary page. And we'll get that kind of centered a bit. And then, so I was after work today. I went out to the garden and I planted another hydrangea. I only have a very small garden, but I'm trying to spruce it up this year, and I've got room. I had to take out a bush, some lavender bush, so I wanted to add something. I got this little bit of finding here. I really love it. And I got it in one of the mixed, I think they're called, I don't know what they're called. I get it at Michael's, and it was in this here. It's called a trim bundle. So I got that around Easter time. I like the pastels of it, and I can use them separately even if it's not Easter. So I'm just going to put this down with a little bit of Fabri-Tac. I think it'll hold the ribbon better. Just thought this was really sweet. So we'll get that down. When I was thinking about coming into the craft room, it'd been quiet. The guy across the street had his whippersnipper out, or his lawnmower out earlier, and I thought he was finished. So I waited, and then I didn't hear any noise. So I thought, oh, he must be done. And then I come to go in here, and he's not finished. So I have this little button. I bought a little jar called 28 Lilac Lane. I got that at a little craft store that we have here. But I had picked up a bunch of these at these ones at the dollar store in this little container. So I thought, well, I'll just pull out some of the buttons and then use my embroidery floss to just put a little bit of string through the holes. But I want to lift this up a little bit and put, might have done that already, some Fabri-Tac there. I'm not going to tie it. I'm just going to kind of leave the ends a little bit straggly. but I am going to use the Fabri-Tac to tack it down. Chester was out running around the house here earlier, and then he was right quiet, so I figured he was in the craft room here in the window, but when I came in I couldn't find him. So then I got a little bit concerned, well, where did he go? Because he doesn't go outside. So I looked in the bedroom, he wasn't there. I looked in the little office room, he wasn't there. So I thought, well, I'll come in the craft room and see what's going on. And he was sleeping behind me. He's found this new little place that he likes to sleep. So I have this ribbon here. I'm going to use, I've got a little piece of this. And then I think I'll use a little bit of this, I think it's organza. Yeah, it is organza. Just to kind of go in the middle of the, to add a little bit of shimmery shine. And then I'm just going to take my little tiny attacher, and I think I'll just staple that on there, try to get it relatively in the middle. Okay, that's cute. And then I'm going to, I think I'll put in the center maybe one of these little flowers. And I had a little dish of, here they are. I had a little dish of the flowers that I think I'll put that on there. That'll be cute. And I think I only need just the normal glue for this. These are paper flowers, or they feel like paper flowers. And I'll put that over the staple. That should stick. It might not stick to that ribbon though. Maybe I should have used the Fabri-Tac. And there's one tag that's kind of cute. So put that aside. And then for this tag, I had just cut out a bigger butterfly, and I have this tag, and again it was on really thin almost paper, so I just glued two together, and I thought that that could be a topper, so I'll get that down. I bought hanging baskets on the weekend. Costco finally got them in, and it was Mother's Day, so I figured they wanted to try to get them in for Mother's Day. But it's been so cool outside, and I didn't want them to die, so I had them in my car for a night, and then, just trying to get that center, then I brought them out yesterday so they could get some sun, and then I brought them in the house last night because I thought it was just going to be too cold. So then little things I've pulled together for this one is I had done a little corner piece with one of my die cuts. So I thought maybe that could go there. And maybe we'll use one of these little banners. One that's going to go kind of with the, maybe this one. Yeah, kind of like that one. But we're going to have to just distress it just a little bit. If you don't have die cuts, you can always cut the shapes out on the, if you can draw just a little butterfly shape and then use it, cut it out and use it as a template. I'm not that great at drawing, so I just used my die cut machine. I have this Cricut machine I've had forever. So I kind of thought that would go there, so let's put that a bit there. So yeah, so when I got off work, I went out and I dug a big hole for my hydrangea bush. And then I fixed up about another 4 feet along my fence. I just dug it out, put down some of the black landscape fabric, and then put some more earth down. So hopefully the hydrangea will take. I have 2 already in the yard. They're everlasting, I think they're called, and they last all summer long. And the blooms are like, one's a blue kind of pink, I think, and one's a purple kind of pink. And they're lovely, and they're round like balls. But the hydrangea that I bought at Costco to put kind of across my little lawn. My lawn's only about 8 feet wide, I guess, or less. But to go just across are white blooms, but they kind of go into a point. So I thought it would add a little bit of contrast. I'm not sure what the flowering period is for them, though. I'm hoping that they'll last a good part of the summer, either spring into summer, like now. But they don't really look like they're anywhere near gonna bloom. So I have another little button here, and I just put some embroidery floss on it. I thought maybe we could just put that down there in the corner, like so. And then I thought maybe for this one, we'll just use the slot punch. And I'm trying to get it, trying to look and see if it's kind of centerish. And then for this one here, I just have some lace that I got at the dollar store. I'm just going to make a little bit of that, and I think I'll just thread it through the slot there. And then I kind of thought I would use my embroidery floss. I always find if I turn it upside down, I tend to have better luck. I don't know why. So I'm not going to put a bow in it, I don't think. There's the lawnmower. Hopefully it's not too loud for you guys. The window is closed here, so. Alright. So, let's see if I can get this. Yeah, sometimes my arthritis is hard to tie a bow, to tie a knot. On these we can trim just a little bit. They don't need to be that long. Here, and I thought that would be another cute little one that we could add to our little collection. Okay, and then this one here, I kind of thought, what if we use a different color and a different style? So maybe this one. And then I'll get that down. I'll put that down, put it like that. I think that's good. And then I had a piece of, oh, here it is. I have just this piece of material, it's just a chunk. But I thought that might kind of go good there. Just as a little bit of textile interest. I think that's plugged. There we go. So when I was out digging in the yard, I realized my yard has a lot of worms. Now, worms don't bother me. Some people don't like worms. But they're kind of nice to see in the yard because they're really good for the soil and they're good for the plants. They kind of aerate everything. Okay, and then I have another couple butterflies that I thought, and this is from that National Geographic. So let's just distress that a little bit. And I hope you guys are all well. I love all the comments when you let me know what's going on, what's blooming in your yard. I find that just so interesting. And it helps me get to know you guys as well. I might not be able to reply straight away, but I do try to get to it as soon as I can. Okay, and then I had another, a wee little butterfly that I thought could go in the middle. And I have some of these. These are harder to distress, but I don't try to be perfect, but just maybe try to get a little bit on the ends. I'm just afraid that I'm going to rip it or something. So I don't try to be perfect. Our temperature is supposed to go down tonight. We're supposed to have a frost. So I've already bought my hanging baskets in. They're sitting in the kitchen. Chester's right intrigued by the baskets. I bring them in and he's very cautious. He doesn't really know what to make of the little jungle that has started to take over the kitchen. So this is just a little doily that I cut out with some die cuts. I think I got the die cuts for these on Amazon. There was a set of 4. And I thought that they were kind of cute. And then I have another little button here. So what about, I know my butterfly is going to be roughly there. So I don't think that's going to stick with the Elmer's glue onto that net. So I've switched up to the Fabri-Tac. See if that'll hold. And it holds so much better. So with this here, I'm just going to put a little bit on the leaves. And with these, like you're just puttering around. You could be watching something on telly. You could be watching one of your YouTubers. And just limit yourself to like some butterflies or flowers or just something that you can mass make. And then before you know it, you've got quite a few. And like I said, with these ones here, I'm going to make doubles, which I could be doing. Like you could be making two of these at a time. I find that the hardest thing is just trying to figure out a layout or how you kind of want your tag to look. But once you figure that out, it's just as easy to make a couple as it is to just make one. Okay, and then the flowers, thinking that we'll put one of those kind of in the middle there. And I'm just going to put that down with just normal glue. I tend to use Elmer's Glue All. It has a pretty good hold. And then I think I'll use the slot again. But you could just use a circle punch or just put it. Sounds like there's a woodpecker outside. That's kind of weird. And then I got this at, I got it at Walmart, I think. The little curvy, what is it, seam binding or seam finish. And then I have a little bit of this silky ribbon. Is it sari silk? I don't know. But I thought I really like the feel of it. So I thought we could use a little bit of that. And I kind of thought if we kind of space that out like so, and then thread it through our slot there. All right, and then kind of pull that up like so, which is cute. And then I think for this one here, I think I'll use the blue embroidery floss. There is a woodpecker outside. I can hear it tapping on the tree, which is kind of weird. And I don't think I've really heard one in my yard before. I've heard them before when I used to live in the country. I used to have quite a few woodpeckers. The pileated ones weren't that common in my yard, but I have seen them, like woody woodpecker. But I used to get a lot of just the normal black and white little woodpeckers. I love hearing nature. I've been obsessed with flower books, like nature diaries, like Edith Holden and Janet Marsh, and I'm reading one now it was written years ago. I think it was called The Book of Memories by Fanny Robinson, and then the Victoria and Albert Museum did a book around that, and I'm just loving that book. So then for this one, I thought we could take a navy tag and get that down. It's really interesting that the Victorians did use flowers as kind of hidden meanings in things, and I find that very fascinating. So I'm quite interested in that. So I've got a number of little things that I pulled together that I thought we could use for this tag. And got them over here in a little dish here. I can get everything out. My hands are... Alright, so I have these things that I thought that we could put down our little... I'm going to put the middle one down first. Chester just let out a big sigh. He must be having a dream. I wonder if cats really do dream about running and stuff like that, like when you see their little legs twitching and stuff. Or is it just some kind of a reflex? Okay, and with these, you could distress them. I didn't on these ones. And then to put my beads down, I am going to use some Fabri-Tac. So it'll hold it better. Okay. So I've been watching a bit of Survivor. And I just sometimes get tired of all the talk about the game and the lot. Like, I like reality shows that kind of talk a little bit about the people and not just about all the infighting and backstabbing. So I tend to put that on, Survivor on, when I'm like doing something else, like washing the dishes or something. Because then it doesn't need my full attention and I can still see what's going on. All right. What kind of shows are you guys watching? Anything interesting? I've been watching Spooks, which is a British MI5 spy kind of series. It's finished now though. Or I'm not finished, but there's about 10 seasons, I think. And I'm kind of not very far. I kind of thought with this one here that I had this little bead, half-back pearl, but it doesn't have a stickiness onto it. Thought I'd put that there. And then I had these 3 little buttons that I thought might go at the top of the little banners there. Or you could put a little bead or whatever. You could put a little bit of just glitter. But I have these beads, like I showed you, and then I have another whole container of beads. And it's something I often don't really think about to use. So when I thought about making these cute little tags, I saw an idea like this on Pinterest. Kind of, well, not really like this, but that was just using little banners and beads, and I thought, or buttons. I thought, oh, well, that's an idea. So I'm just going to cut these a little bit because they're getting a bit unruly here. Okay. Like so. Okay, and you could even pull that up more if you wanted. That might be a little bit close to the bottom, but I don't care. And then I've got these little rivets that I got at the dollar store. So I thought about putting them in the center of the little butterfly. Just to add that. And then I had these little sequins that I thought might kind of go cute on here. Like so. Love the sound of the lawnmower. The lawnmower is definitely a summer memory. Okay, and then for there, I'm just reaching over into my ribbon bin. Thinking maybe a bigger piece, and then maybe some of this bling bling. I do like bling. And then maybe just kind of put that on top. Like so. And then just staple that down. Like that. And then we can put another flower there. Just on top of there. I got these little flowers. They had a 50% off sale at Michael's. And I had a coupon. They weren't very much. I think they're like maybe $14 or something. But I'm not sure if that's going to stick, but I can use the Fabri-Tac if it doesn't. So there, that's another little cute one. I think that's kind of cute. Okay, so I got two more here to work on. So for this one here, just going back to the same kind of ingredients as I got this, made this little tag from that National Geographic packaging that my issue comes in. Just thought about getting that. I do like my National Geographic. It's not the same as it used to be. I think my first subscription was, before I put glue on that, I do want to just stress that just a little bit. The first National Geographic subscription I ever had, I think, was in the 90s. And it just seemed to have so much more information, like longer articles and more research being done. I'm finding that I'm not really enjoying it as much as I used to, but I still like a lot of the pictures, and there are a lot of pictures there that would be good for collage. I do a lot of collaging, but I'm finding some of the older ones that I get at the thrift store tend to have better images, I think. Okay, and then there's another little button. I went to the thrift store yesterday. I went to Value Village, and they're rearranging the store, which I don't know why stores do that. Well, I have a good idea why, to be honest. I think it's because they want to mix it up so that people have to look around to find things, and then they may find something that they're not looking for. That's my theory on that. But my normal routine is I go in the door and I beeline right to the gardening books, because I just want to see if there's something really interesting there. And then, so I go to the gardening books, and then I go to the craft wall where they have the little bags of stuff hanging there. And then I go down to the office supply stuff, and I've got from time to time packs of ledgers, which has been a good deal. So then I'll go to the other side of the store where the yarn and the lace, like the lacy curtains and stuff like that are. And then I go to the checkout. So when I went in yesterday, the gardening books were in the same place. But nothing else was. So I was running around trying to find out where everything was. I ended up getting 3 books. So I got a book on embroidery stitches that was written like in the 70s, I think, which I thought was really, really nice. Okay, and then I was going to put another little butterfly there. I love books. If I had every book that I ever owned, I think I'd have literally a small library. But I give them away or I have to downsize. It's only been the last couple years that I've really started to build up my books again, but it's more so like reference books for collaging and stuff. I do have some of my all-time favorites, though. I have a Jane Eyre that my mom gave me when I was young. It's a little leather-bound one, and I have that. I've never parted with that. And a couple other books that she gave me. I like the ones that she inscribed think that's where she's no longer here. It's nice to have that little part of her. So for this one here, I'm thinking I might use a little bit of this. And this is just seam binding that comes on a little spool like that. I'm trying to see if I got the little packaging, but I don't. But it's just seam binding, I think. And I love it. It's very feminine. But it's not heavy. So I think it's good. And then I think I'll just use maybe some more of this blue. Get that tied on there. The longer days just give me more, I can't really even say it gives me more energy, but it motivates me more to like come in the craft room and do little projects in the evenings, where in the winter I kind of seem to snuggle in more. I like when I can start sleeping with the window open and getting some fresh air. Okay. And there's another one, little one. So I think it is cute. And then you still have lots, with some of the papers there was like a date. So I made sure that that was kind of on the back of the card. So you could actually use the backs as a little journal space. And then the last one is this little one. So again, I just pulled a bunch of stuff together, just out of the scrap. So this was from the National Geographic, and I just cut it into a little banner. Kind of thought that could go at the bottom. And then the little tag top, I just punched it out, but then I cut the bottom off it for the little tagger top there. And I kind of like the little holes on the side. It gives it a little bit of drama, I think. This one here is just a little die cut that I had, like I had on the first one. I thought that could kind of go on there. Okay, and then there's a little butterfly there. I have another little banner. Kind of layer up the banners, only that's the wrong side. Because it's got, must have scribbled on it for some reason. That's okay, that'll dry. This paper here is just a bit of coffee dyed paper. And now that the weather is nicer, I'll be making some more paper. And then here's just another little butterfly. And I have another little half-back pearl. Just going to need some Fabri-Tac. I use the tweezers because I find them hard to pick up with my fingers. Okay, and then I just had this little bit of just a little plant die that I thought might look cute on the top here. Kind of laying across there. just cut off the end there. Like so, and then I think I might want to put a few little pearls there. Or rivets, I guess. Maybe put a couple. Oop. That went ping. Okay. And then we need a topper. And I got some of this at the dollar store. I thought this would make a cute little pull. And I'm just gonna I'll just do that like so. And then I'll just staple it on and get a grip on it here. It's not wanting to cooperate in my hands. Okay, and then I think I'll put another little flower on there. And there we've had a nice little craft with me session and made some really cute little tags just using scraps. So just to recap, to clean this place up later, here are all the tags that we made today. So I'm really glad that you stopped by to spend a little time with me. And I'd love for you to subscribe if you haven't already, and give me a like if you did enjoy our little session. And until we meet again, I hope you stay safe and well, and bye for now.